weather. I think it's only like 80 degrees here right now, which in the shade really feels really nice. And there's a low breeze blowing. I made myself some fresh squeezed lemonade with a little cranberry in it, and I thought that I would sit out here by the pond and walk down memory lane. My husband and I both have a wonderful history of sewing in our families. My husband's grandmother, Teresa, came over on a boat from Italy when she was 8 years old. And when she got a lot older, she met his grandfather, Kent. And Kent's family was quite well-to-do in New York, the state of New York. And Kent's mother owned a dress shop that she opened in the early 20s. And she not only sold ready-made clothing, she mostly was a designer who made clothing, bespoke clothing for her clients. And she ran that store until she was much, much older and retired. And so that was a really neat thing I learned about his family. So Teresa also, she had worked at the store learning to sew. So Teresa was a big time sewist also. And I've got patterns here from Teresa that she made for herself and for Mark's Aunt Lori, who is our age. So she's the same age. Then I've got some patterns from my grandmother. My grandmother was an amazing seamstress. She could have, I remember when I was little, 8 years old, maybe even younger than that, my grandmother's sewing table was in the dining room. And she had a big dining room with a large table because she had 6 kids. And I remember young girls would come in and they would have a photograph from a magazine of a prom dress or a bridal gown or even bridesmaids' dresses. And my grandmother would just roll out butcher paper. Sometimes it was just newspapers, and she'd tape them up real quick. And in 15 minutes, this is what she would do. She would take a few measurements of the girls. She'd measure the shoulders, and she would ask them how tall they were, and she'd draw a few lines on this paper. And then she'd measure their upper bust, draw some lines. Measure their waist, draw a line. Measure their hips, draw a line. And then she would connect the dots, and then she would say, pay me 50% now, and then you come back in 2 weeks for a fitting. 2 weeks later, Grandma would have it all sewn together, and they would come in for their fitting, and she would tweak it. And that's what my grandma did. It was really awesome to grow up in that environment. So I've got that. Then I've got patterns from when I was a teenager, when I sewed for myself, or when I had a few things made for me. And then we'll go up into the era when my children were little, and I sewed for myself and also sewed for them. So let's get started. Let's start with 1970. So we're going to do the 70s, the 80s, and the 90s. 1970. This is Simplicity 8917. It is a size 16. This was Teresa's. This is something that she made for herself, Grandma Teresa. I love how sub-70s this is. It just cracks me up. It really cracks me up. Then we have 1971. This is a pattern for Mark's Aunt Lori, who is our age. McCall's 3230. Check out the fabric. These are wrap pants and wrap shorts. And I was very young in 1971, but I do remember that those wrap pants lasted forever because my aunts all had them. So that's so cute. Here's another pattern Miss Teresa made for herself. McCall's 3459. It's in a size 16, so Grandma Teresa was a size 16. Love the fabric of that skirt. It's just fantastic. That's a cute outfit right there. Then we're going to skip over to my grandmother making something for me. My daddy was a Baptist minister, and we had a very strict upbringing. We didn't wear, I didn't wear pants or shorts. I couldn't wear makeup when I first started getting to the age of wearing makeup. I didn't cut my hair until the late 70s. I kept my hair cut, but I didn't wear it shorter until the late 70s. And we were not allowed to swim in the swimming pool with boys. It was girls swimming parties and boys swimming parties at our church. Well, when I was a little girl, I was about 8 years old, my grandmother babysat me. And so she went out and she got this pattern and made me a swimsuit without my parents knowing about it. so that I could go to the swimming pool with my uncle and my aunts who still lived at home. So this was our secret from Daddy. Here's another great memory from my grandmother. She always made us nightgowns, and eventually she made us house coats. And this is one of the patterns that she made our nightgowns from. There were a lot of granddaughters, only 2 grandsons, because my grandmother had 4 daughters and 2 sons herself. So this is really a cool thing, having this pattern, because that brings back some memories. It's from the Fabric Center in Clarksville, Mississippi. I should tell you what year that was, too. This was in 1974. Here is another thing she made for me. This is Simplicity 3494. This is from 1978. I wasn't very old. I got these shorts made for me right here because some little boy told my grandpa that he knew who his granddaughter was, because I was the little girl that the boys would stand under the swing set or by the swing set and watch my skirt fly up and my panties would show. So Grandma went and got this pattern for me and marched herself right down there to the school and used to hide the shorts in the locker. Another secret we kept from my dad. Back to Grandma Teresa. This is McCall's Teen Action Line featuring Chrissy McNichol. Oh my gosh, you guys. Remember Chrissy McNichol? This is from 1979. And this pattern has been cut up quite a bit. So I think that Lori probably had all of these. And I like how it's stamped with Oklahoma City, the Hancock fabric in Oklahoma City. So that's just the coolest thing. McCall's 6626. Now we're going to get into the 80s. This is some of my own sewing. This one is from 1983. I made this outfit for myself. By then, Dad had relaxed and we were able to wear regular clothes. And so I made this for myself. I even have everything marked on the back. So this pattern starts at size 6 and goes to size 16. I was a size 6. My bust was 30.5 inches. My waist was 23 inches. My waist is double that now, practically. But I had to grade up to a size 10 because my hips were 34.5. I told you, I was always curvy, and I always had to make adjustments, even when I was a tiny little bitty thing. I wouldn't lie to y'all. This pattern's awesome. McCall's P212. This is so fun. In 1984, I was in theater all through high school, and this pattern was used to make a costume for me. It was made for me. I had a seamstress do that for me. I was the French girl in the play, The Princess and the Pea. My best friend was the princess. Here is an awesome memory. I just love this so much. McCall's 8950. When I was in high school in Mississippi, all the girls, the bigger the dress, the better. Everybody's dresses had hoops under them. The 70s were gone. Those long, slinky, straight dresses, that was history. Nobody wore anything like that. All big, huge. The bigger the ruffles, the better. The bigger the shoulders, the better. A la this pattern right here. That sleeve would have been perfect for a prom dress. I was having none of it because I had been making my own clothes and designing things, and I wanted to look different. I wanted to stand out from the crowd. So my prom dress was black, strapless. Nobody went strapless. And tealing. I stood out like a sore thumb, which made me so happy. A seamstress made this for me, and we had to order black lace because I wanted black lace over this. This pattern doesn't call for it, but that's what I designed. So when I took the drawing together, the seamstress and I went to the store and we found this pattern. This had 3 layers of black lace. It had to be ordered from somewhere else in the country because nobody ever had a reason to use black lace. At that time, black was only for females. So I definitely was a trendsetter. You know, I had thought about matching up photographs to these patterns, but I just never did it. So I said, Robin, just show the patterns. Here's another pattern that I made for myself. This was a 1983 pattern, but I made this in 1984 for our senior trip. My husband and I graduated in 84, and we all went to Destin, Florida. It was an official thing. I made all the pieces. I made the bandeau, the shirt, and the pants. I don't think I made the skirt. I don't remember the skirt, but I thought I was the sharpest looking thing, and I think I even went and found fabrics a lot like the cover because I thought she looked really cool. Okay, let's come into the 90s now. Butterick 5650. This pattern is from 1991. I became a manager very, very young. I became a district manager very, very young in my career. And in 1991, Carrie Shea was 1 year old and Tasha was 6 years old. I made this suit for myself because I became an assistant manager when I was only 25. I made myself the pants in view E and the jacket in view B, that one lapel jacket. Isn't this so Christina Carrington? What was that TV show? Dynasty. I'll tell you, I looked sharp. Made me happy. Then this pattern, I have two of these because my girls, 5 years apart, were two very different sizes. This is in 1994. So Carrie was 4 and Tasha was 9. Oh my gosh. I made each of them little matching outfits. They liked matching outfits. They quickly got to where they wanted coordinating outfits. So I would put a toddler type of outfit on Carrie and a big girl outfit on Tasha. This is precious, precious, precious. This is from this pattern was made in 91, but I used it in 1994 when Carrie Shea was 4 years old. This is Butterick 5821. View C. Carrie was a miniature bride, flower girl, miniature bride in a good friend's wedding, and this pattern looked a lot like the bride's gown, and so I had to make a whole lot of changes to it, but it was precious, and Carrie even had a wreath headset with tulle on it, and this was precious. We still have this dress. This one's very, I just think it's very sweet. So here's the pattern my grandmother made our Christmas PJs from. And here's the pattern I made my daughter's Christmas PJs from. It's just really sweet to have both of these together. And this is 1995, so Carrie would have been 5 and Tasha 10. And I made their Christmas PJs. I was doing it before then. I just happened to find this pattern. So that was a sweet memory for me. That's all of my history of pattern making. Now I want to show you guys the pattern that I made this top from. Alright, this top is Simplicity 8880. I made basically the same view that's on the cover. This was my first pattern that I started making again. I just did this in June. So I really have not been working with patterns for very long again because I make my own, you know, sloper. I use my sloper for everything. There's a lot wrong with this. For one thing, it wasn't broad enough in the back. I did not consult my sloper at all when I was making it. So the back wasn't broad enough. I had to actually put vents in the sleeves, all around the sleeve, in an attempt to give myself more room. And it worked great. I had added over an inch to this, but by the time I sewed it back, it still was very, very wide across here. So there's my bra straps. And I put tabs, and little snap tabs in here so that it hangs onto my bra strap and it doesn't fall. But I really love this top. I really think it turned out cute. I may use, I will not use this pattern again just because I had to make so many changes. But I really do enjoy the top. I get lots of compliments. I love to wear it with these really wide leg jeans that are just ankle length for me. And I love to wear it with my cute little shoes. I love these shoes. They're very funky. So the whole outfit is very Mandarin looking. I do often wear my hair like this when I wear it. It's just the whole look, right? Thank you so much for joining me today for this little quick video. I hope you've enjoyed walking down memory lane with me on these vintage patterns. And I would like to ask you to please, if you enjoyed my vid, please subscribe, share it with your friends. Now please comment. I have so enjoyed the comments. I have really enjoyed getting to know some of you really well. If you live in East Texas or in Northwest Louisiana, let me know. Maybe we could get together for lunch sometime. I would love to get to know you even better. And this has all just been so much fun for me. So thank you so much for your friendly, sweet comments, for sharing this, for subscribing to my channel. And please come back and see me. I'm Robin, the Curvy Sewist.